This is a special presentation from KCRG-TV9 News, remembering Hayden Fry.
Hayden Fry changed a college football program. He also changed the mindset of an entire state. He passed away on December 17th at the age of 90. For 20 years, Fry took the Hawkeyes to the top of the Big Ten with his humor, his square jaw, and even his famous sunglasses. Hayden Fry did it his way. He was 143, 89, and 6 in his career at Iowa and won 3 Big Ten titles.
But it's his personality off the field we really remember. Hayden was one of a kind.
But I also believe I know something that maybe some of the other coaches that have been through Iowa didn't know. I think I know what it takes to win, and that I'm strong enough to do something about it.
We are no longer embarrassed. Thank you.
Super, I tell you. Isn't that amazing? 15 years. To compete with the people that have been winning in the Big Ten. And whatever it takes, we're going to do it as long as it's ethical and within the rules. It was my game plan when I came to Iowa. I told Bump Elliott, I said, you know, this will be the last college coaching job I take, win, lose, or draw. And he laughed and he said, well, you'll be the last football coach I ever hire. And I said, why? And he said, because if you don't make it, they're going to fire me.
But Bump Elliott's selection of Fry to head the Iowa football program turned out to be the best he ever made. Fry immediately began erasing 20 years of football famine. The plan was to replace a losing environment with a winning one.
And so we tried to do away with the uniforms, the emblem, everything that was associated with losing, and brought in the new things, the new uniforms, the new environment, the way we came onto the field, left the field, the way we tried to get our players to talk to the members of the faculty as well as the news media, to be positive and be proud to be Hawks. And you do that, and then you work real hard, good things happen.
And good things did happen, quickly. In 3 short years, Fry had the Hawkeyes winning and going to bowl games. In 1981, they earned their first of 3 trips to the Rose Bowl.
Well, they really have everything planned, and they're just super accommodations, the sunshine, and all those other good things.
Coach, unless you're a Michigan. There have been some big wins in the years that follow. How about 1985, when #1 Iowa beat #2 Michigan on Rob Howland's game-ending field goal? 2 weeks later in Columbus, Fry suffered possibly his toughest regular season loss. The Hawkeyes lost their #1 ranking during a monsoon in Columbus.
We just weren't good enough to do it, or maybe Ohio State was better. However you want to word it, it's really a disheartening loss.
2 years later, Fry experienced one of his most satisfying regular season victories. Once again, it's Columbus, but this time, Chuck Hartley to Marv Cook for a fourth-quarter, fourth-down touchdown. It gave Iowa its first win in Columbus in 28 years.
To finally win here, you just don't know what that means to me and my coaches.
In 1990, the Hawks opened the Big Ten season with a win at Michigan State, and then came back 2 weeks later to win at Michigan on a thrilling last-minute drive.
Can you believe 2 times in Michigan the same year? First time ever. First time an Iowa football team has ever beaten both Michigan State and Michigan on the road.
Shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
In 1993, Hayden Fry was closing in on a milestone few coaches ever reach. He needed 6 victories to give him 200 for his college coaching career.
Well, just the fact I'm here is an accomplishment, but the fact I could join 10 or 11 other guys as having been the only ones to win over 200 games in Division I football, yeah, that'd be a great accomplishment. It really would, but that doesn't mean anything. We win the Big Ten championship and the Rose Bowl. Those 2 things together, that holds a lot more value to me than winning 200 games.
Fry has taken 3 Iowa football teams to Pasadena, and 3 times the Hawks have come up on the short end of things.
Yeah, it bugs the hell out of me because I want to do it, and I know we can do it, but everything's got to be right.
Despite the Rose Bowl frustration, Hayden Fry looks back at his Iowa career with no regrets. Even the hubbub about his Hawkeye marketing company is just a faint memory. Of course, there were rumors at times of other job offers. One Dallas columnist had Fry returning to Texas to take over the Longhorns, to which Fry said,
I wouldn't give that guy the time of day down there. And Fred Akers trying to get ready for a big ball game with Oklahoma, that's ridiculous.
But all the people around Iowa, I mean, they're just...
I'm here in Iowa. I'm not going any place.
But minutes after the '86 Holiday Bowl victory, Fry said he was considering an offer from Southern Cal.
I don't want to sound braggadocious or anything. I've had a lot of opportunities for other jobs since I've been at the University of Iowa. I've never brought up a job before until this USC job came along. A lot of the news media in Iowa acted like I'd really done something wrong. I thought it was a real compliment, a team that had more Heisman Trophy winners, more All-Americans than any school in America, to offer a coach from Iowa the opportunity. We turned the job down. Why? Because we loved Iowa more.
Ready to another level, defense.
And Hayden Fry would close out his coaching career at Iowa. Here, a rare glimpse of Fry with his team during halftime of a Michigan game.
Now, let's try to score, defense. Try to score. Hey, offense, you're improving. You're getting a lot better. You're getting a lot better. But we've got to put together some drives and keep the ball away from them. We got to take advantage.
Hayden notched his 200th victory on the last day of the 1993 season. The Hawkeyes beat the Gophers, and for the first time in his Iowa career, he accepted a ride off the field. What a scene it was. Hayden with his wife Shirley and Governor Branstad. Hayden with his players and coaches.
And this is a great moment. You guys don't know how many great coaches, assistant coaches, and players made a contribution for this trophy. And, the first person I think is the good Lord, because I believe in the Lord, and I think that seeing all the coaches that never got 200 victories, that he had an awful lot to do with it.
That was certainly not his final victory. A couple of others that stand out. The 21-20 win at Penn State in 1996. Tim Dwight having a Tim Dwight kind of day, and Hayden was as happy as we've ever seen him.
John, that's got to be one of the all-time greatest wins because of the timing with this young ball club, and they just keep coming back, and gee, it's great to win here at Penn State. You know, not too many folks win here.
Hayden Fry is the dean of Big Ten football coaches. Despite great success at Iowa, he feels his work is not yet done. However, the question he's beginning to hear more often, how much longer will he keep it up?
John, as long as I'm healthy and we're winning and everyone is pleased, I'd like to continue to coach as long as I can, say to age 70. On the other hand, with all of the problems going on in intercollegiate athletics today, there are a lot of coaches like me that are taking a deep look at the future, because the way the NCAA is going on rules and regulations and the cutbacks, who knows? We'll just have to play it by ear.
Those were his thoughts in 1993. By 1997, the retirement question would not go away, and Hayden addressed it in his best style.
I can't tell you when I will leave, surrender, retire, disappear in the mountains. It gets time that I'm not doing the job and they want to tell me goodbye, well, I'm going to shake her hand, say thank you, and ride off into the sunset if I can find an old mule.
The Iowa Hawkeyes have had 2 head coaches over the last 41 seasons since Fry began.
One of Fry's assistants, Kirk Ferentz, followed in 1999. Ferentz revered Hayden Fry from his time as an assistant in the 1980s on those Big Ten title teams. As our special Remembering Hayden Fry continues. One of Hayden Fry's legacies is his coaching tree. Several of his assistants went on to be successful Hall of Fame coaches. That list includes Wisconsin's Barry Alvarez and Oklahoma's Bob Stoops, and of course Kirk Ferentz, who took over from Fry.
Absolutely. Hawkeye head coach Kirk Ferentz was an assistant under Coach Fry during the 1980s. He says he never imagined Hawkeye football without Hayden as the head Hawk. Ferentz says his time working alongside Coach Fry helped shape his own coaching style and success. But as Josh Christensen reports, first and foremost, Fry was an amazing friend.
Guys, in 1981, Kirk Ferentz says he sent out 3 resumes, one to Appalachian State, Hawaii, and Iowa. After a recommendation from his former high school head coach Joe Moore, Ferentz joined Hayden Fry's staff as the offensive line coach. And Ferentz wasn't just a part of the rebuilding process, he's continued what Coach Fry started all those years ago.
He took a shot on me. I didn't have a resume that would merit really opportunity here.
Pass rush this way.
Kirk Ferentz has said many times he had no idea what he was walking into when he joined Hayden Fry's staff in 1981. And looking back, it's a decision he never regrets.
Once I was here, he served as a mentor and a role model, I think, on a daily basis. And since that time, he's also been a cherished friend. So, I can't say enough about the role that he played in my life and my family's life. And again, I think I speak for so many people that coached for him, played for him, So, the real story is Coach Fry.
Ferentz was a part of an all-star coaching staff that included Bill Snyder, Barry Alvarez, and Bob Stoops. The Hawkeyes won 2 Big Ten titles and made 2 Rose Bowl appearances before Ferentz left in 1990. He went on to become the head coach at Maine and then went on to the NFL to become an assistant coach. He was with the Baltimore Ravens the day Coach Fry announced his retirement at Iowa.
I'll always be a Hawk. All the people that gave me an opportunity to spend 20 years as a member of the Hawkeye family, I could never repay them.
In December of '98, Iowa brought back Ferentz to become the new head coach, and he was hoping to continue what Coach Fry had started. Coach Fry certainly loved the hire.
I just think it's outstanding. Kirk Ferentz was one of the top assistant coaches I've ever had. He's very intelligent. He's a hard worker. He's very knowledgeable of the game of football.
And Ferentz has continued that winning tradition with 2 Big Ten championships, 16 bowl appearances, including 2 Orange Bowls and 1 Rose Bowl. In the 2018 season opener against Northern Illinois, he passed his mentor for most career wins at Iowa. He was asked whether he envisioned continuing Coach Fry's legacy.
You never envision your dad dying. I don't think any of us ever envisioned Coach Fry retiring. So, it's just not something you think about, I guess. And so it's, I'm pleased. I know he wanted it to stay in the family, so thrilled that we can keep it going.
The news of Coach Fry's passing was very emotional for Ferentz, but he knows Coach Fry is and will always be proud.
Favorite story, Coach? I'll follow up on that. I mean, just like, we all have mentors, and it starts at home, usually with your parents, and then, people like Joe Moore and Hayden Fry. And it took me 25 years. I got a window now. So, he's looking at me and Rita every day. So both of us better be on good behavior and better be, moving straight ahead. So that's how you look at it.
Hayden Fry made a huge impact on countless Iowans and Hawkeye fans across the nation.
He did indeed. Fry is most known for his days at the helm of the Hawkeye program, where he reached the pinnacle of his career. But as Mike O'Brien explains, before Hayden took the field as the head Hawk at Kinnick Stadium, he had a roller coaster start to his career in the Lone Star State.
It was in his home state of Texas where Fry's coaching career began, a career that started, like many others in coaching, as a player. It all started at Odessa High School in the mid-40s. Fry was quarterback, leading Odessa High to the 1946 state championship, their one and only state championship in school history. His time in Texas is such a big part of his life that it takes up the first 98 pages of his book, A High Porch Picnic. Fry went on to play at Baylor, starting just a few games, but really soaking in the knowledge he needed to start a career in coaching. And what better place to get started? His alma mater, Odessa High. At just 26 years old, Fry was coaching the team he led to a title just a decade prior. Fry spent 3 years at Odessa and then 4 more years as an assistant at various programs before finally reaching that head coaching title once again at Southern Methodist University. In his first season, Fry was named the conference's Coach of the Year and broke barriers by recruiting and signing Jerry Levias, who became the first black player to earn a football scholarship in the Southwest Conference. Fry stayed coach at SMU until his firing in 1972. And it wasn't long until his next job came calling at North Texas State. Fry was named head coach and athletic director, compiling a winning record in 4 of his 6 seasons. Even with a 10-1 mark in '77, a 9-2 record in 1978, North Texas never got a bowl invitation. Fry realized he wanted something more, something that may only happen if he left the state he grew up in. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Thank you, Mike. Along with the wins and the bowls, Hayden Fry had a larger-than-life persona.
Yeah, so many years and so many stories. We'll hear from one of his old QBs and a man who knew him as well as anyone as our special Remembering Hayden Fry continues. Welcome back. Former Iowa Sports Information Director Phil Hattie joins me now, along with Gordy Bohannon, who played quarterback for the Hawkeyes. And what was it like to be a quarterback with Hayden Fry as your head coach?
It was a life-changing experience, let's put it that way. He was a man that taught us more than just football. And as I told him the last time I saw him at the quarterback reunion at Fry Fest, I said, Coach, you did more than coach football, you changed lives. So
was he difficult on you at all?
No, I don't think he was. He was usually pretty good, and actually he let his coaches coach. So yeah. Coach Snyder was our quarterback receiver coach, and so every coach dealt with their individual players, and he would just be the mastermind behind all of it. But no, he was very respectful of the players and never really did a lot of yelling at us.
And you understood the Texas slang?
When I first got recruited, he called me I'm from Southern California, and he said, "I'm Coach Fry. I'm from Iowa," and I didn't know. It really threw me off. So yeah, we got used to it though.
Phil, you've got some great stories about Hayden Fry.
Well, Hayden Fry is. What can you say? He came into a program that was considered the graveyard of coaches. He brought in an unbelievable coaching staff. Coaches from there went to, for example, Barry Alvarez and Bill Snyder went to 2 other schools that were considered graveyards of coaches. Yeah. So what does that say about Hayden? He had a knack of surrounding himself with excellent people. Everything he did with a purpose. And that purpose was to make his program go forward. As Gordy said, when I was at practice, he really never said much out there in practice. But I remember Carl Jackson telling me that during a course of a season, he would usually get fired 18 times because he would get in the staff meetings, and that's when he would tell the coaches, "This isn't happening. This isn't." He'd be quiet on the practice field, but when he got him in the coaching room, he'd let him know, this isn't happening, this isn't happening. He'd fire him, and then the next day he'd rehire him. So,
I remember a time in a news conference they'd lost, and he said, "My coaches are going to have to back up to the pay window." And but he must have been a dream for a sports information director. The persona that he gave out on camera and everything.
You know, before he'd go into a press conference, and John, you may remember some of these things. He'd say, "You know, that isn't in my contract. I don't have to do these press conferences." And he says, "I don't have to go out here with all these yahoos." And then he'd walk in the room and he'd say, "How y'all doing?"
Yeah.
You know, he'd be all smiles, but he'd have a knack. And I think you remember some of this. When we were playing schools like Michigan, Ohio State, he'd go in there and he'd be jovial.
Yeah.
This is after things were turned around. When we'd play a school like Northwestern, Wisconsin, which we had their number back then he'd be stern-faced. He'd be mad about something.
We don't have a chance.
We don't. You know, he'd do something to get his team fired up, but he'd do something to loosen them up at the same time and be happy and joking when we're playing teams that were ranked in the top 5 in the country. Everything he did had an ulterior motive and a purpose.
I appreciate both you guys for coming on. I know how difficult this has been for both of you. Still to come, former Fry assistant Dan McCarney with a special message to Hayden at his 90th birthday party just months before he passed.
and you changed the path of all of our lives. That's why we're all here. It's pretty amazing, pretty special. And you take that with you the rest of your life.
Welcome back. It was my privilege to cover Hayden Fry as a coach and his legacy over the last 40 years. Hawkeye Nation mourns with the Fry family, with his wife Shirley, and with their children.
Hayden Fry changed the Hawkeye football program forever. We leave you now with the words of Dan McCarney, who says it better than anyone else could.
And you changed the path of all of our lives. That's why we're all here. It's pretty amazing, pretty special. And you take that with you the rest of your life. And I found out this much. I'm 65. I hope I can coach you 90 right now. At 90 years old, I hope I can make it to 90 like Coach Fry. But every single day, I get up every morning, there's a picture of Hayden Fry in my bedroom. So I get up and I look at him, and that's how I start my day. To be able to say thanks to a guy that his loyalty to all of us was incredible. It was uncommon. It was pure, but it was real. And this guy unbelievably made history for all of us to enjoy and to be a part of. And they'll be talking about Hayden Fry for generations to come. But thank God we were all part of it for today.
I'll always be a Hawk. All the people that gave me an opportunity to spend 20 years as a member of the Hawkeye family, I could never repay them.